Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Lynch, for your accurate remarks, and certainly look forward to working with both of you on this particular issue. It seems like every time we turn around on the televisions, we see unspeakable atrocities that are being committed by ISIS. You know, it's come now into the bedrooms and homes of many of us where we have to deal with this reality. The increased presence of ISIS in countries like Iraq and Syria highlight the concerns over the reports of thousands of citizens in Western countries traveling to places like Iraq and Syria, and then training with these terrorist groups and then returning home. Even late last year, obviously, the people of Paris saw this practice manifest in a just horrific tragedy. Individuals with dual citizenship travel to Syria and train with these so-called fighters that fight against innocent civilians going about their everyday life, but it's really not a fight. This was an attack against fathers and mothers, daughters and sons. And these monsters who carried out these attacks took advantage of rights granted to them as nationals of France and nationals of Belgium in an effort to help prevent individuals from similarly exploiting the advantages afforded to them by having a citizenship of those countries covered by the Visa Waiver Program. Congress, as Mr. Lynch put forth, passed a piece of legislation late last year that would require those individuals who travel to certain countries of concern or who hold dual citizenship with those countries to go through a more rigorous review before being admitted to the United States, a common sense approach. But since the president has signed that bill into law, it seems like the administration is starting to backpedal on some of those changes to expand that narrow exception for national security afforded to them by Congress. The administration's disregard for the congressional intent is intolerable, especially when we look at the action being done to appease a country like Iran. It's troubling. I understand that there are many people affected by Congress's changes to the Visa Waiver Program that mean no harm to the United States. It's very obvious. What is important to understand is that being excluded from the Visa Waiver Program does not keep these people from coming to the United States. It just means that they have to apply for a visa like all other people around the world that are not included in that program. Somehow we think that it's keeping them from coming to the United States. That being said, we need to make sure that our visa screening process is effective, and I've been pressuring DHS for months, including in a hearing in December to report to Congress on the number of individuals who have overstayed their visas. While DHS finally released a report about 3 weeks ago, the report left much to be desired. For instance, the figure included only a couple of subsections of admissions, leaving incomplete the picture of these overstays. DHS reports that only 1% of admissions overstayed their permissible period. However, when you start to look at this, the administration only counted the travelers each time they entered the country as a unique admission. Now, what I'm saying there is thereby it lowers the overall numbers to suggest that we're doing a better job than we really are. That figure that was reported by DHS suggested that there were some 500,000 foreign travelers who had overstayed their visa and remained in the United States illegally. And as of January 4th, that number had been brought down to 416,000 of these who had not left the country. As I said, this number does not give the full picture either. It does not include those who enter by land or those who have entered for other reasons other than business or pleasure, such as students, guest workers, exchange visitors. In fact, of the over 70 specific types of non-immigrant visas, DHS report only covers 2 out of 70. This report is supposed to inform Congress not only is it missing critical information, but DHS will not even provide Congress with the background memos used to compile the report. We have a DHS official here today, so I hope that hopefully you can answer some of these questions for us and start to illuminate both members of the majority and the minority. I also hope that you can help us understand the significance of a biometric exit system and actually putting that in so that we can start to track this system and have proper reporting for visa overstays, because it is a critical function for our national security. And I can tell you that I imagine everyone in this room agrees with this. I don't want to have an incident that happens here that could have been prevented by implementing the proper procedures to look at this. Far too often we look backwards. We say, well, only if this had happened or only if that had happened. Maybe this disaster could have been prevented. I know one thing for sure. We must get it right. We must get it right away. And I thank the chairman for his patience and his direction and his leadership on this, and I yield back.